Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Penny and I'm coming to you today from Northern Ontario, Canada. It's been really nice weather lately. Ontario started to open up some. We got the dogs taken to the groomers. Their nails were terrible, and I'm sorry if you hear dogs walking around in the background, but they seem to be interested to see what Mom's up to when she's talking to herself. So I've had a few dog interruptions, few granddaughter interruptions, because of course we can start to expand our little small group of 3 into 10. And the other day I had this video just about done, and my granddaughter came running in from outside screaming, "Granny, I'm going camping!" And it was cute enough. I could have left it in the video, except typically they don't call me Granny. So, hi Madison, Grandma's redoing it. Anyhow, let's get to the yarny goodness part. I'm not sure what you can see and what you can't see here, but this beautiful top is my creation. There was not a pattern for this top. The stitches is the Jayda in Stitches baby blanket that she has. I will link it below. I made it last month in the peach colored yarn. Said I love the stitch. Really love the stitch. Michael's has opened too, so I got down there and got some Caron cotton cakes. And this is what this is a Caron cotton cake, a couple of them, in almond crisp. Oh, well, almond crisp. And it's a 3/4 length sleeve. I left the sleeves open and dangly because I want it to be breathing and fluffy. I typically wear tank tops in the summertime, but I don't go out in public in tank top because I don't like to show off my body that way. And but just throw something like this over top and run to the store works great. In seeing this, I already have one of my daughters asking me if I could make one for her a little bit longer so she could use it as a beach cover-up. This is mine. I'm keeping this for me. Nobody's getting this one because most of the stuff I make ends up walking out of the house. But it's about me now, not about them. So the second thing, I'm going to test this pattern again for myself. And I'm trying a granddaughter version of it right now. And if it does work out, I will be sharing the construction of it. The stitch pattern is Jayda's, not mine. But the counts and all the way I did it and stuff, I'm more than willing to share it if anyone is interested. That's if it works out, because when I made this, I had in my mind the intention that I would probably be ripping it out 8 or 10 times. I did not rip out any of this. It worked out perfectly. The only time I had to rip back is if I put 4 crochets in, double crochets in instead of 5. The thing I like about this is you catch your mistakes really quickly, and yeah, so it just worked out really quite easily. And I know that designing wearables and patterns is not easy, but this was, so it was obviously meant to be. So anyhow, on to my next thing that I made for myself. For Mother's Day, I got some coral Bernat Premium, and I made the All Free Channels has this poncho. I've seen it quite a while ago. I had it bookmarked, but it was not something I never got around to making. I watched the video again and was like, yeah, I'm going to make that out of that coral yarn that I just got. When I took my crochet hook and my yarn with me, I did not have internet access to the pattern. So I just chained what I thought would fit around my neck loosely, did a double crochet, and then, you know, I didn't start the same way as she did, but I did do the base pattern, like the mesh part and the little shell details. I did that the same as she did. I'm not sure if you can see that or what, but yeah, sorry, and my wrist is, in a big brace, which is part of the reason I haven't been, crocheting as much as normal, is because it's hard to crochet with this on. It is still possible. However, I have started trying to learn how to crochet with my left hand. Left is right crochet, Sandy. Left might be my right now if my wrist doesn't get any better. It's not as easy as it looks to start. Single crochets were really quite easy with the left hand, but double crochet and treble crochet, I don't have my brain around that yet. The next thing I made was, again, Karen cotton cake that I've just purchased from Michael's. I dove into that yarn like a kid at Christmas. This is Nastazia's V scarf. I wanted something that I could just wrap around my neck quick, that covered up the front. I have a couple of low-cut tops, and if you're volunteering doing things, a little more shows than I want to. So I made this. I did follow her pattern exactly. I wanted to prove to myself that I did still know how to follow a pattern without making it my own. These are cute. I have had a couple of requests for these already. I will get to them when I get to them, but then it's not going to be a priority because I'm working more for myself these days. Since this all started, I've had a rough time keeping my motivation up and my spirits up. May was really quite a dark month for me. I ended up having to let my staff go because I didn't have proper PPE for them. Federation of Women's Institute, I'm a member. Ontario was having a conference 2020 in our area. We'd worked hard on it for 2 years and it had to get postponed and then actually canceled. And our fair, I'm an agricultural society member, our fair got canceled. A lot of the crocheting and knitting and stuff I do, I show at the fair, just to really have more stuff in the exhibit hall, because as time goes on, fairs are getting smaller and smaller. But so I kind of lost all my crojo and my motivation and my reason for getting up, because I couldn't see the grandchildren either. It was like pretty bleak there for a bit, but I have bounced back and it's all about me now. Apparently. But I am still crocheting and knitting for my charities. The next thing I made was some soap sacks. I thought that if I'm going to be crocheting for charities, I need to be working at stuff closer to home. So we have a women's shelter and a men's shelter nearby. So I thought I would make some soap sacks. Sometimes getting a homemade gift at a trying time in your life can really change you. I myself received a basket quite a while ago. I was the 23rd of December. I was rushed with my spouse to intensive care unit in Southern Ontario. He was in a very bad way, and the hospital took really good care of me. They put me in a little private room off to the side. I didn't have to sit with the general public bustling and going in and out of the intensive care. I now know why they put me in there. It wasn't to keep me comfortable. It was to keep me away from the general population if something went awry, that there wouldn't be a big scene in the main room. He was quite sick. He did recover, and he's fine today. But on the 23rd of December, when you're 4 or 5 hours away from home, my immediate family members were taking care of things like my daughter and my dog, and I was down there by myself. And the hospital on the 24th brought in a basket, and in the basket there was coffees and creamers, and I was ever so excited to see the shortbread cookies. It was shortbread cookie mix, so a lot of stuff that was in the basket wasn't usable. But there was a hat and scarf, and because I had rushed out the door so quickly, I didn't have my hat or scarf with me. It was a green Christmas, and we usually have snow here. But not having a hat and scarf, it was still windy and cold, and so I think that's part of the reason I give so much is because that really changed my life that day, getting that hat and scarf. Like it was something someone created for me that cared. And when you're alone like that, it can change. It can change how you feel. So another thing I made was I thought I would make these bags for the women's shelter. It's out of cotton. This is Grant Pink, I think, handicrafter home, yeah, handicrafter cotton. They share washrooms, so she can put her own toiletries and special things in the bag. If it gets wet on the bottom or something, it's cotton, it'll handle it, it'll dry. But I thought what I would do is I would put some face scrubbers. I made 4 face scrubbers and a face cloth or a dishcloth or soap sacks, or I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna put in them yet. If you have any suggestions, that would be great. When I talked to the home, a shelter, they thought it was great that I was willing to do something, but they had no suggestions of what really they were looking for. And they said toiletries and, I'm not sure. I'm going to put like toothpaste and shampoo and conditioner, stuff like that, I guess. The other thing I made was in the sand and surf. This is another lemon peel stitch. It could be a dishcloth or a face cloth. I was going to also give these to the men's shelter, so I'm looking at my cotton going, I don't really have a lot of men's colored cotton. So, I will pick up some more of that and work on that. Baby hats. Baby hats have been a bit of a problem. Such a cute little thing can be such a problem. I started making hats for Click for Babies, Shaken Baby Syndrome, Purple Crying, that charity. And when I originally started making the hats, I had contacted the London hospital and they were still accepting the hats. They were still doing the program. So I had crocheted 23 hats. And after my last show and tell, I had a viewer ask me for the link because she was interested. She lives nearby, wanted to help out. I went back to the website to cut and paste the address for her, and I noticed that the London hospital was no longer on the list. I don't understand if it's what's going on right now or whether they've removed themselves from the program completely, but I now have 23 crocheted baby hats that, I'll find a place for them is what my thought was, but I was pretty upset because I normally don't, I'm not organized enough to contact them and say, hey, are you still looking for these? And I had done that this time, and now they're not taking them. So I was pretty distraught, and a couple of friends that I know on Facebook found out about my abundance of hats, and they contacted me within a week of me posting my baby hat situation. I had links for Oshawa Hospital is looking for knit hats for the birthing unit. And so I got the link from that. I contacted the person. They are looking for hats. They prefer the knit ones, not crocheted ones. But she would take the crocheted ones, they're not going to turn them away. But her thought in it was crocheted is too open of a stitch and the knit's snugglier, warmer for the babies. So I took their pattern and I used the peach from my blanket that was left over and some of the white snuggly wuggly and made a little hat for them. And then I had a mandala cake that was left over from my granddaughter's sweater that I made her, the campfire cardigan. And so I used it in there. I'm not sure about that one. These brighter colors don't really sing baby to me, but different people like different colors, so I'm sure somebody will like it on their little baby girl. Getting the hats to Oshawa is going to be a bit difficult for me, but my son-in-law has a trucker friend that said he would do it, so I'm going to continue knitting hats for Oshawa, at least to get them because they're short right now. And So I've been knitting a bit more with my wrist. It's working out okay, but I find crocheting faster, and I find the stitches just as tight as the knit ones. So we'll see. Another thing I've made is a few more of my little puppy baggies. I found a button. I found some buttons in my stash finally. I've gotten to that section of cleaning up the craft room. And it's got a lobster claw hook on it. I usually use carabiners, but I found the lobster claws, so why not put that on there. And this is just the little baggie you can hook to your dog's leash, your coat, your purse, your whatever. And I do intend to send this to a YouTube friend and for her dog. That's one of the squares on our bingo this month, is share some yarny goodness with a friend. So that'll work for that. The other thing I wanted to share with you is my works in progress. I was quite proudly saying to a fellow YouTuber that I do not have, a lot of sleeping whips or UFOs. 7 years ago when I moved, I put all my projects in a bin. When I settled down and started unpacking bins, I went through the bin and was pretty harsh with it. If I didn't love it, it came apart. If I wasn't going to finish it or whatever, they came apart. That's part of the reason I have so much scrap wool. But at the same aspect, I wanted to stay on top of it, and I have managed to stay on top of it. Like, if it's not something I love and it gets stuck away for 3 or 4 months, I have a small space where that stuff accumulates, and I keep it I'm pretty harsh with myself with that. But back in January, I started the Jayda in Stitches blanket. Her calendar cal from 2019. I just hadn't got a chance. I've watched all of her videos. I made all of the appliques except for the mushrooms. And I just have not sewn them on. I have my sun. I have my little forest. I don't have the barn on. It is made, ready to go on. I did not make, because I have to change everything. It has to be my own. I did not make a row of houses. I made one house. I put a tree beside the house with a little tree swing. I have a girl flying a kite. Not sewn on yet. I have the tractor, but I also made a truck because every farm has a truck. This is not, this is a farm scene is what I'm going for. Going to enter it in our fair. If it's part of the reason it lost its mojo too, is because our fair got canceled. So, that's what happens. And instead of having a lighthouse, I have a little boy sitting on a dock fishing. And instead of whales, I have fish. So I have pulled this out. It's sitting in my chair so that I get the appliques sewn on and it can get finished up. I do intend to put a backing on it and hang it. I have stairs going into the basement, and that wall is a big open space. So eventually that's what I'm going to use it as, like a folk art picture. That's my intentions. Another work in progress that's a continuous working is my regular crocheted granny squares for the lapgans for hospice. I don't have that bag out here. It's just sitting over there, but I'm not going to go get it. And the other thing is my flowers squares for my grandma's flower beds. My intention with this is to crochet as many squares as I can get out of the center ball of pink. This is just out of the Bernat Premium. I'm using one ball for the flowers, using all the squares that I can on a single size blanket, and then whatever's left over at the end, because I have several granddaughters, I'm going to make different colored flowers, and then at the end, after all of their blankets are done, take what's left and make it into an afghan or a spread or a throw for myself. That's the intention there. And that's pretty much all of my works in progress, except I did start this morning when I finished sewing my sleeves. I did start my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, the tiniest one, same pattern as I'm wearing. I'm going to try to make her a little sweater and see if it works out in her size, because it's faster than seeing if it'll work out in my size. And continuing knitting some more baby hats. I have one actually on the needle, just haven't got very far with it yet. And that's all my works in progress. I guess that's everything. Again, happy Father's Day, and hopefully you made it to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm excited to get up to 100 subscribers. I'm at 84 now. I don't know if I'm going to be a Christmas in July fairy. I don't know if I'm allowed to be. I did send off an email asking if I was allowed to be, because if I could be, I'd like to be. I seen Bag of Day's video this week where she was doing her giveaway and she was so excited about packing the box, and I was like, I want to do that too. So hopefully I will see you soon to talk about this top, and maybe to do a Christmas in July fairies video. I don't know. We'll see. But until I see you again, make sure you take some time to play with a little bit of yarn and stay safe.